Made $200,000 last year while still in college. I've had this in my draft post for weeks and I'd give it's of any value to anyone at this point, but here goes. Got the final numbers this week and to my disbelief, I 8x'd my income between 2021, $25,000, and 2022, while still in college. Realizing I made this money last year hasn't made me any happier than when I worked at a restaurant for $2K/mo. But I did learn more last year than any other year. About business and life. Hopefully there's something in here that helps someone out there. My business is an e-commerce business. I buy containers of product that I've white labeled from a manufacturer in China and sell it online. I don't work from a beach in Bali or drive a nice car. Most of my year was sitting behind a computer at my desk, answering calls, visiting the warehouse, etc. My day-to-day resembles most 9-to-5 jobs. But I'm making enough money to support myself and building equity, and that's been the number one goal since I got started. Some background. My first experience in business was a dropshipping business that I started in 2020. It had all kinds of issues and stressed me the fuck out. But I managed to sell it in the summer of 2021 for $15,000. People always say don't sell unless it's a life-changing amount of money, and as dumb as it sounds, $15,000 at the time was a life-changing amount of money. I'd never seen that much money at once, and that check proved to me that I was at least capable of creating something valuable. Smiling ear to ear, I took my $15,000 to the bank and enjoyed the rest of the summer without a care in the world. For 2 months, I applied to jobs, internships, and got ready for school to start up again in the fall. After a single week of classes, I realized there was no way I'd be able to sit still for another 2 years of school. I had to start something new. I started looking for product ideas. My criteria was this. /high AOV, $500 plus. /no local competition. /somehow related to my existing product/industry knowledge. Within a few weeks, I stumbled on what I thought was an amazing product that fit my criteria, and decided that instead of leaving my hard-earned $15,000 in the S&P, I was going to go all in on starting my own direct-to-consumer business. I blamed most of the issues of the dropshipping business on how dependent I was on the supplier, and thought by taking on more risk and servicing a larger portion of the value chain, I could create something more sustainable and more profitable. I would buy inventory from a factory overseas, wait several months for it to arrive, brand it, and sell it online. I started with one order, one pallet, of the product from China in November 2021. This was when shipping rates were still insane, so the cost of the product was about $5,000 and the shipping was $7,000 via ocean. So after some other costs, ads, Shopify, etc., I'd pretty much put all the money I had into this new idea. The first pallet took about 4 months to arrive, but in that time I was running ads, sending out samples to customers, and improving the website. I managed to sell the entire first batch of inventory before it arrived, and used that revenue to order another pallet from the factory in January 2022. By March 2022, the second pallet was sold out and I ordered my first 20 container. This was a huge jump in order size, and suddenly my entire net worth was in that container, plus I had $10,000 in credit card debt. Everything was riding on that container. If something went wrong, I'd pretty much be Saul. Of course, the manufacturer fucked it up and sent about 35% of the inventory in the wrong color, with this terrible finishing material that looked really cheap and fake. The product I'm selling is very aesthetic based and I've priced/marketed it on the higher end, so this was devastating to me. I had a meltdown in my bedroom, yelled a bunch, took some deep breaths, and prayed that this wouldn't sink me. For weeks, I had nightmares of all the 1-star reviews, returns, complaints, lawsuits, etc. But there was nothing I could do. I took photos of the product as it was, put it on the website and hoped for the best. A small number of people complained, but most people didn't seem to mind the difference, or know the difference, since there were virtually no competitors in this niche, and the terrible inventory was sold out within a matter of weeks. We even got a few positive reviews during that time, which really got the ball rolling. As usual, when it feels like the sky is falling, it usually isn't. As the months went by, I kept repeating this process. Ordering product, selling it, calling customers for feedback, having the factory make changes to the product, selling more, repeat. I sold $80K/month from June to September, $100,000 in October, $200,000 in November and $120,000 last month. I closed out 2022 with $800K in revenue. I netted about 25%. No employees, some contractors for odd jobs, and a 3PL. From Jan-May I was in school, taking 5 classes, while working a part-time internship in fintech. In May, I went full-time into the business, but was back to school in the fall with 3 classes. My grades have taken a hit as the business has grown, but I'm still on track to graduate in April. I've finally hired a full-time employee to handle customer service and am now working on adding new products and pursuing new markets. As I said in the beginning, I made $25,000 in 2021. In 2020 I depended solely on COVID checks, and before that I waited tables while pursuing a career in music. Here's a few of the things that have helped me the most over the past 2 years. Be honest about your reasons for doing things. Ask yourself this: if you could never tell a single soul about what you're doing, would you still do it? If you could never brag at dinner parties about owning your own business, would you still want to own one? If you couldn't put entrepreneur in your bio, would you still want to be one? If you can't answer these questions honestly, reflect on your reasons for doing what you do. In my experience, it's incredibly hard to succeed at something if your primary motivator is vanity/ego. The life of a business owner is too ugly and painful to be worth it if you're just doing it to flex on imaginary haters. I made the biggest strides in life and business after I deleted my Instagram account and haven't looked back. The silver bullet you're looking for is sacrificing the thing you love the most. I'm not there yet, but the one thing that's helped me progress more in life and business more than anything else has been giving up one of the things I love the most: alcohol. I absolutely love the feeling of being drunk, but from March to October last year I didn't have a drop of alcohol, and the business objectively wouldn't have done as well as it did if I didn't make that choice. I also felt incredibly happy considering how much bullshit I was dealing with as a never-ending stream of problems and tasks continue to pile on. The subconscious reward structures I'd built for myself, alcohol to celebrate, to relax, to end the week, etc., weren't really apparent until I stopped drinking. Same went for the escapist tendencies, alcohol to forget problems, mitigate anxiety. I didn't realize how much of a crutch alcohol was until I cut it out for an extended period of time. Some people don't have crutches at all. Some people have different ones like weed, porn, video games, etc. If you have something that you go to when things get really hard, try cutting it out for a few weeks. You'll be surprised at how much more you can handle than you thought, even without your crutch. Heineken 0% feels 90% as good and has none of the downsides. Highly recommend. Run towards whatever scares you the most. Almost every single win from last year stemmed from doing something that scared the shit out of me. Over-communicating with customers when their orders were delayed by months. Calling customers personally when they were pissed off and letting them yell at me. Reaching out to people who I deemed to be out of my weight class, celebrities, big retailers, etc., and pitching our product. Putting out content that I'd made myself, that I was starring in, on the company socials. This stuff all scared the shit out of me and I wanted nothing more than to not do any of it. Just bury yourself in the Shopify dashboard. You don't need to do any of that, is what I told myself. Every single time that I put my head down and ran towards the thing that scared me the most, I was paid back 10 times over. Customers went from angry to understanding. Big collaborators featured us at no cost and skyrocketed our growth. Videos went viral, etc. Good things happen that I never would have imagined. If it scares the shit out of you, run towards it.